Hi, Jerry Gerlich here from Castle Hill Fitness in Austin, Texas. Here to take you through a simple home workout with some basic equipment that should be safe, fun, and effective for overall toning, strengthening, and balance. Things you're going to need: an exercise ball. They come in 3 different sizes: small, medium, large. You got 55, 65, 75 inches. The small is going to be for 5 to about 5'5". 5'6" to about 5'10", and 5'11" to about 6'3" on the large ball. You'll need some resistance bands. They come in like a small, medium, and large. So you get small for stabilization, medium for light lifting, and then heavy duty for heavy lifting. You can get these for around $30 to $40 online or at exercise stores such as Academy. Some dumbbells. You might want to have 2 sets. A heavier set, I like to use 8s and 4s. You can use 5s and 10s. I would not suggest more than 10 pounds for the exercises that we're doing because this is more for stabilization and the movements should be easy. You should not be straining. If you start to feel a little bit overloaded with the heavier weights, then you can drop it down to about half the weight. So I like to go between 8s and 4s. Some type of pillow or folded up blanket for a head support, whether on the floor or on the foam roller when using the ball. That also comes in handy if you put your legs up the wall and do some stretches. It comes in handy to support the sacrum and the low back. So, what are we going to start with? We're going to start with a 10 to 15 minute warm-up. So you can get on a treadmill, a stationary bike, go right around the block, vibration training, go up and down the stairs. Some basic movement patterns for the legs and the upper body, just to kind of get the blood flowing. Just go walk around the block. If that's not possible, just walk around your house for 10 minutes. Once you've warmed up, we're going to start with some posture and some mobilization of your chest and your arms. So we're just going to do some arm swings. So one arm goes over the other, and then switch, and then switch. So you'll see my hands are below shoulder level. And I'm just going one arm over the top, then the other. Open the chest, close the chest. Open the chest, close the chest. Just kind of opening things up, moving things around. You're going to do that for 60 seconds. I have a clock on the wall. It's good to have a timer. If you've got a smartphone or a tablet or something that you can just run a 30-second or 1-minute timer, and can just on repeat. It'll continue to tell you when it's time to change. Everything here is going to be done on 30, 45, or 60-second increments, or you can do them on count. After we've done the shoulders, we're going to rotate the shoulders. So one thumb is going to be back, and one thumb is going to be forward. So you're going to rotate the whole arm. You're trying to extend the arms fully. One is forward, one is back, and reverse, and reverse, and reverse. Reverse. Keep the hands below shoulder level so it doesn't go into the muscles between your shoulders and neck. Nice and tall. Try to get your fingers to each side of the room. Really extending the arms, rotating the shoulders. This one you'll only do for 30 seconds. After that, we've got some twists, some rotations on the ball. I'll take the large ball and have a seat on this thing. My feet about a little wider than hip width apart. Toes can be out a little bit. I'm going to put the hands to the opposing shoulders and I'm going to rotate my trunk, but I'm also going to work on my balance and posture and attempt to keep the ball still and keep my head in one position. So the hands go to the opposing shoulders and rotate. So just find a rhythm with your breathing. You're pressing the feet down into the floor. If you can do this in front of a mirror, that would be great, because then you can see in the mirror if the ball is moving around. As you'll see here, I'm sitting nice and tall, and I'm activating the muscles through my trunk that help us to rotate. This is an awesome exercise, and you're going to do that for 60 seconds. The next one is called a posterior pelvic tilt. This one will be for 2 minutes. Posterior pelvic tilt helps activate all the muscles through the mid and lower section of the core, which helps reset your posture. I ride a bicycle a lot. These muscles tend to get tight from looking up the road, so when I get on the floor, I try to put a little something under my head. Posterior pelvic tilt is going to activate the inner thighs, the pelvic floor, the transverse abdominis. So there's a bunch of muscles through this area that kind of just all pull together to help straighten out the back. This actually extends the back of the body from the front of the body. So you should feel a lot of inner thighs and a lot of deep core muscles. Pelvic floor is the muscle that you feel when you're shutting off urination. Transverse abdominis is a muscle you feel just near your belly button that pulls the belly button down into the floor. You're not rocking your hips around, you're actually drawing the belly button down. So I like to go palms up. We do this for 2 minutes. So you inhale, you're relaxed. On the exhale, inner thighs, pelvic floor transverse. Your bottom comes off the floor an inch or 2 inches. It doesn't come way up into the air. It just comes up and then you roll out of it. So you're tilting your pelvis by engaging all these muscles. All on the exhale. I like to go palms up to help keep the shoulders open. You should feel a lot of inner thighs, and you should feel really nice on your back. 2 minutes on that one. After we have posterior pelvic tilt, rolling the ball with the legs. I'm going to take the medium. You can use a medium or small size ball. Get the legs up on the ball. And now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the ball and keep the upper body still. So earlier as I was seated on the ball, the legs were still, the upper body was moving. Now the upper body is going to be still, the legs are going to move. It's the same basic muscle groups, but they're using different patterns, and it should feel a little bit different on your back. You only have about 30 degrees of rotation in the area in your back where it rotates. L4, L5 has about 30 degrees, so you don't. 90 degrees would be the floor, 45 degrees is about here. So 30 is really only about here. So I like to go palms up, about 30 degrees, and 30 degrees. Now if you pay attention to your upper body, your shoulder blades, you will feel this area right here, this shoulder blade start to come off the floor if you go too far. So if I go too far, that shoulder and shoulder blade are going to start coming up. So just where you feel it's trying to come up, and then go right back over. It looks like a really simplistic exercise, but there's quite a bit going on here. But this helps activate again the oblique muscles. You have to work on stabilizing and braking. So you have to slow the legs down a little bit in either direction. Great exercise. 2 minutes on this one, rotating the ball. Standing rows with resistance. All right, so you need to make an anchor. At Castle Hill, we've got all kinds of anchors around the place that we can hook resistance bands to. If you don't have something that you trust that you actually need something really solid, especially if you're going to use something heavier like this. Yoga straps are designed to hold people's body weight, so they're really strong, and they'll also go in a door. So if I want to do a row, a standing row, like this, right? I'm going to have that cable anchored, I don't know, somewhere around here. I'll take the loop of the yoga strap and I'll hang it at about the position I want. I don't know, that looks pretty good. And then just on the other side of the door, I've got my fingers, so I know that I want to tie a knot that stops it where my fingers are. So if I just tie a little knot in it, something like that. Now that won't go through the slot in the door. So the yoga strap will come through, the knot goes outside. It's imperative that if you do this, you do it in a room with a locking door, or maybe in a closet where you know nobody's going to come out of. And it's also a good idea to put like a door stop against there just in case somebody forgets. But let people know if you're exercising with something like this that you're going to be doing this so somebody doesn't accidentally open a door and you fall. All right, so now we've got this thing stabilized. Your resistance band goes into the anchor. Standing row. So now I'm standing up. Test it, make sure everything's good. Hips go lightly back. Retract the shoulder blades and open the chest. Exhale as you pull back, inhale forward. This should help exercise the muscles between your shoulder blades, open up your chest. You should definitely feel the legs working. If that feels like it's too much, go down to the medium band. Now, something to remember about exercise bands is kind of a 3-to-1 safety ratio. If a band is about 4 feet long, 4 times 3 is 12. When you get this to about 12 feet, they start to get really thin, and that's when they run the risk of breaking. So try not to get them over that 3-to-1 ratio. You want to make it easier? Put the lighter band in. You can stand up a little taller. This will be much easier to pull. If you want to make it a little more challenging, just step back a little bit. All right? Standing rows. So now that we've had you up and standing and working on balance, now we're going to get you onto your back with a foam roller. So I'm going to get on the foam roller. I'm going to put my little blanket on top for light support on the head. Pick your weights out depending on how you're feeling. I've just had a bicycle ride. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to go with these heavy ones for the first set. If you can't see your clock or it's not running, just go for 20 repetitions. So the feet are fairly wide. You're going to start with the weights up and together. You're going to inhale as you bring them down and out wide. Exhale, up and together. And as I'm doing this, I'm lightly pressing my feet into the floor and engaging my core just enough to stabilize on the foam roller. So now you have a balance component combined with your pushing. Pushing helps work on the chest and the muscles on the arms that extend the arms, your triceps. Pushing exercise, we'll call this 20. When you finish, set your elbows down to the floor, bring the weights down controlled, take a little break. You'll take about a 30-second break. Once you've had your break, bring your feet a touch closer together. Try it again. A little curl, bring the weights all the way up. Okay, now that I've brought my feet a little bit closer together, I can feel more of a balance component. So my core has to work a little bit differently than it did in the previous set. Weights are the same, but the exercise has now become more challenging just by bringing my feet closer together. All right, chest press on a foam roller, 4 sets of 20. Now if that starts to hurt your shoulder or your back or your neck, if it's too much for you, just get rid of the foam roller, right? And just go from the floor. The next one, we're going to have you standing up again. A little bit of balance and stability work with the light resistance band. It's a standing outer thigh exercise. We'll go on time on this one. 45 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Feet go on the band. Start with the feet, with the band soft, with the feet about 12 inches or so apart, 14 inches apart. Then when you bring them out a little bit wider than hip level, you'll have a little bit of tension on them. The idea is to stand nice and tall, feet running parallel, and you're just going to drift side to side, stabilizing, keeping your feet and your knees straight. You should feel some muscles through the sides of the hips here stabilizing. Nice and tall, and tall. So as I have a leg off the ground, the other leg is working on balance. The leg that's in the air is working on stabilizing that hip while it's off the ground. Great exercise. 15 seconds in, we're going to go for 45 seconds, and I'll take a break. I've been doing this activity for years. It helps, and no, it does not get easier. It gets a little easier, but this still gets to me. Great exercise to do right off of a bicycle as well. Okay, so going back and forth between the standing and the seated, or the standing and being on your back, we're going back and forth between lifting with different parts of the body and also kicking in your balance. Seated rows on a ball. So we did the standing rows with our anchor. Now we're going to go to seated rows. Now I like to go to the seated row. I'm going to go with this medium-sized band. And we're going to do this a little bit differently. Instead of just standing in the athletic stance with the feet in the same position, we're going to go to the seated rows. We'll do 4 sets of 20 or 4 sets of 45 seconds. So on the first set, my feet are nice and wide. Oops. Okay, and I'm going to press into the floor as though I'm starting to get off the ball. So I'm going to engage my glute muscles, engage my posture, sit nice and tall, retract my shoulder blades, open my chest. Feels really nice on the back. If that feels too hard, move the ball forward. If that feels a little easy, move the ball back a little bit. But you should just feel everything kind of engaged to open you up and help with your seated posture. We'll call that 45 seconds. You take a little break. Set number 2, bring your feet closer together. So the same load is going to be challenged more with your, or it's going to challenge you more with your posture. So you'll go again, about 45 seconds. That's not so bad. We'll call that 45 seconds. You take a little break, hand on the ball, feet a little closer together. We'll call that a 30-second break. Yeah, I can definitely feel the ball wants to roll around more as I'm doing this. If you're starting to feel knee pain, go wide with your feet again. If you're jiggling around on the ball like you're going to fall off the ball, it's too much for your system. So only take it to the edge of what you can handle with good form and technique. If you can get your feet and knees all the way together and engage all this and sit tall, more power to you. This is very challenging for me. All right, so that's 4 sets of rows, starting with the feet wide, going to narrow, if you can handle it. Either 20 repetitions or 45 seconds on, 30 seconds off. All right, next activity, I like to call legs up the wall. The idea is to try to get your back to go up the wall, or your legs to go up the wall and your back to be on the floor. So this helps reset your posture. It's similar to doing a forward bend, but instead of compressing your low spine and working to stay in that position, you're actually tractioning your low spine and you relax into the 90 degrees. So the idea is to get to something like this. If I take my rear end all the way to the wall, my legs straight up the wall, and bring my palms out to the side, now I'm completely relaxed at 90 degrees. If this is too much on the low back, right, if you feel like your hips are being dragged off the ground, or your hamstrings, your backs of your legs are getting really tight, just give yourself a break. Roll something up and put it under your sacrum. Maybe a towel, maybe 2, maybe 3. The more you fold it over, the higher you get your sacrum, the less of an angle you'll have here and the easier it should be on your back. Legs up the wall, really nice. This helps for blood return to the heart, and it helps reset the spine after you've been exercising. So great to do anytime. And we do this for 2 minutes if you can handle it. When you come out of legs up the wall, always roll to the right. The heart empties from the right. So if you've had your legs above your heart and you roll to the left, it's more likely that you'll be dizzy when you come up. So always gently bring your legs down, roll to the right. Right? Come up on a knee first. If you need a wall or a doorknob or something to help you up, get close to something to help you up. Let your head reset and then come up. That was legs up the wall to help stretch out the back and the hamstrings. Next one is called a piriformis stretch. There's different ways to do this. The simplest way that I can come up with for most people is called a figure 4 stretch on your back, and it stretches the piriformis. So I'm going to get on the back, head on my little pad. And the figure 4 is the one ankle over one knee like this, and then this leg here, I'm just going to relax this lower leg and just lightly pull this leg into the body to stretch this side. You want to pull on the exhale, inhale, relax. Pull on the exhale, inhale, relax. It should just feel nice. It should not cause pain. It should reduce tension. You should notice some tension in the piriformis muscle, but just pull enough to get a nice stretch out of it. Go a minute on this side, and then switch. Ooh, a little bit tighter over here. You'll notice that one side is probably tighter than the other. Grab the leg on the exhale. Lightly pull the leg in toward the chest. Doing this exercise on a regular basis will help make the standing exercise, the outer thigh exercise, a little bit easier. Okay, that's piriformis muscle. So you're going to do a minute per side on the exhales, pulling the opposing leg into the chest. Then you're going to go onto all fours. Then we're going to do what's called cat and cow. If you think about a scared cat or a cow, cat's going to hunch the back up, cow's going to drop the back down. So just get on all fours, hands under the shoulders. You can tuck your toes under. I like to tuck my toes under to stretch my feet after riding, or you can just let your feet lay with the toes curled in the other direction. But on the exhale, engage that low core and curve that upper back like a scared cat. Inhale, look up, let your belly drop down. There's the cow, cat and cow. Excellent exercise. You can do this every day. Cat and cow, you're going to do for 60 seconds. All right. Everything that we've just done should take you about 40 to 45 minutes. That includes the warm-up. Down in Castle Hill, we're moving equipment around. We're going through stretches between sets sometimes. Sometimes we're modifying the activities. But if you can get in 40 to 45 minutes, 3 days a week on your own with this exercise program, along with some decent nutrition, stress reduction, and just walking around the neighborhood, your body's going to thank you for it. You'll feel better in these weeks to come. We hope to get you guys back down here sooner than later at Castle Hill Fitness. Thank you.